out here in the garage and look what we have. This is our new project over here, or the latest project. We bought a golf cart, and the golf cart comes with 6 brand new batteries. I mean, these things are July of 21 they were bought. Never installed in the golf cart. But for now, this is the cart we're going to start working on. The only thing that I've done to it so far, besides just pushing it into the garage here, is right down here I have kind of chipped off some of the surface rust and everything and just put some white primer on there to make sure it's ready to go. But this is a 36 volt unit. Really don't know if it runs or not, but it does have new batteries and new wiring for it. And you can see that I do what I always do, go to YouTube and it'll tell me exactly how to wire those batteries up. So right now, that's what I'm going to start doing. All right, it's raining now, but as you can see, we have all the batteries in, everything's wired up, the headlights work, the thing goes forward, it goes backwards, it goes in neutral. Those brakes are a little soft, but the hill brakes work, so I think we're in good shape now. We'll keep driving it a little bit for a week or so just to make sure everything's good. And then we'll start worrying about the appearance of it. But again, mechanically it has to work before we start worrying about the appearance. So we'll give that a little run as we go here. No problem, no problem. Oh, by the way, I can't take it out and run it because guess what? It's raining. Welcome to Florida. Well, they're out there looking at it though. Smiling.
This is really fun.
Well, good. Here we are, looking at our construction in the front yard, getting that big old pipe in. There it is. Tooling us around everything. The tree is going to be trimmed pretty soon here. In fact, I don't know what today is, but it's only a few days away.
Right.
So, all right. Well, Linda, you think it's ready to?
I think it's ready. This is the most fun, honest to Pete. I'm going to park it down here in the shade.
I'll park it in the shade. Why not?
Under the Florida aspen tree.
That's right. That's right.
What this right here is with the cool shaped leaves.
Ah.
Called Florida aspen. Believe it or not, this is an invasive species.
Oh, really?
In Florida, yeah. But it's pretty, so I like it.
All right. Well, I'm saying, let's just take a look. So basically, it runs.
Yeah.
It runs pretty good, but it's ugly as sin.
It ain't real pretty.
It needs a lot of
But
help.
she's got a good personality.
She got a good, and she runs good. Runs good. All right. Actually, it's not all that ugly when you're looking at it, but all right, very good. All right, so what we're looking at here is all the pieces and parts that we've taken off of our project golf cart. You can see that the back seat here is got a little problem. We're going to have to replace at least the wood here. The rear deck lid, little scuff guards there, the seat backs, the top. We have plans. We got plans. There's the mat for the floor, and then we'll walk out here and actually take a look at the cart, all stripped down and ready for body work and paint. And this is going to be nice for me. I've never messed with something this small before. Just a little bitty body and a little bit of paint. But basically, as we said earlier, we wanted to make sure that this thing run just right and all before we started spending any money on it, because basically if it runs and performs as a decent golf cart, anything we spend on it at this point is just for cosmetics, and so you don't want to spend a bunch of cosmetic money if it doesn't run. So we thought after our little ride around the neighborhood the other day that we had it just right, and come back, and I did all this tearing down, and just in the 2 or 3 days in tearing it down, I run it around the backyard here to pull it back in the garage or take pieces and parts off of it, and it began to smell hot like it had before, and tore apart. Then you could see where it was at, and if you look right down here at that little guard, beneath that guard is exposed coils, which are just resistors for this electric system here, and they were shorting out. That thing was just flopping around down there, and every time it would hit something and lay there, it would short them out and burn. You can see the discoloration on the thing there. So with it tore down and being able to find that, it was easy just to bring it up and relocate it. The old position, it had come apart and you really couldn't put it back, but this is a great place for it. And the good news is it didn't mess it up. We didn't have to buy anything or any parts or pieces to make it right. So it is running again. Everything is totally exposed now. If there's a problem, we'd see it and know it. So we're ready to start tricking this thing out a little bit. Pieces and parts have been ordered. They'll begin to come in here, let's see, Wednesday. Today's the 20th of September, Monday, and they should start coming in on Wednesday. Have to go shopping here pretty soon for the finished material, the paint, and the other things that we want to do to it. And I'm thinking we'll have it done here in probably another 3 or 4 weeks. Basically, we've got this trip coming up down South Florida, and it'll interrupt the progress on this thing, but you can see where we're at right now. The old golf cart is stripped down and ready to be put back together. So here we go. At this point today, the lift kit came in, so we can start to lift it up. There's all the stuff still piled up that has to go. You can see where all the wood pieces and parts are that I've been working with. And then over here, the new wheels and tires came in today. Would you look at that? So upgrade on the wheels and tires. Got to jack it up a little bit to get them underneath it. So that's what I'm going to start on now. Start putting the lift kit in so we can get them wheels and tires underneath it, and then I'll get back on the wood. And we're still waiting on the rear seat assembly to show up, and once that's here, we can mock it up and then start working on the top. And after all of that, then we'll start priming it for paint. Alright, so here we are. We're about to jack the front of this thing up. Just putting the blocks in and the shock extenders on it. And it looks like it's as simple as it can be, but what happened on the rear end of it was I didn't think. You always got to think. As simple as it looked, it's like, man, if this is so simple, I'm just going to jump on and get it done. But the problem with jumping on and getting it done is that, well, the motor hangs off the differential in the back. There's no drive shaft, and it's just the weight of that electric motor. So as soon as I jacked it up and released everything, that motor went to the ground, which tilted everything, and then I had to, after the fact, go in there and try to level it all up and jack it all up together. And it wasn't easy. You know, if I'd have thought of it beforehand, I'd have made arrangements, but I didn't. And so that left me with a mess. So I'm looking at this front end trying to think. And what I can realize is that when those leaf springs go up off of these points here, then that little cross member there, the steering rod, needs to go below the springs. So that means this whole thing has to come apart, come out, and then be re-put back in. And I hope that that's all, but that means I have to disconnect all the connections down there. So what I thought, just looking at this thing originally, was going to be one of the simplest things in the world, just jack it up, now it becomes a whole lot of take apart and put back together. So we're going to give it a try. We're going to see what happens, but it's not going to be as easy as it looks, and I hope I've anticipated everything ahead of time so that I can account for it and do it in the easiest way possible. I'm going to leave the tires on so that I can roll it around instead of trying to lift it and carry it around and all that while I'm doing this. So we'll see how that works, but I don't know. But we're going to give it a shot. All right, here we go. Still got the old wheels and tires on it, but that is the lift kit on the front of this thing. And this is what it looks like, jacked up 4 inches with the old wheels and tires on it. Here, see if I can look right down through here. You can see the lift kit there. You can see the extension for the shocks, and you can see the little block to raise the axle down and the body up. And then here it is again. Alright, so the next thing is the seat, the rear seat has come in. I want to fit that on there, and before we go any further, see how I'm going to attach the roof, because the roof can't go back the way it was, so there's going to be a little adjustment on the roof up there, and that's basically what's next. I think for the most part everything we've got ordered now has come in, so we're leaving in a day or so to head down to the Keys. So most of this work will be obviously done when we get back, but you can see there is some progress being made. Alright, so here's what we're talking about right now. I gotta stop this just for a second. Alright, little Janice there. Alright, so here's the deal. I am not an electrical engineer. I like to play stupid little things. So what we have here is a stereo that I'm going to put in the golf cart here. And then we have these 2 lights that go on the front. Now, I can see 3 different ways to make these things work. First of all, there's 6-volt batteries in the golf cart, and if I go the way I had earlier, if I go in here, just a second, if I go in here and I go to the positive on one battery, let it feed over and hit the negative on another battery, and they're 2 6 volts, then I've got 12 volts. So I could pick 2 out of these 6 batteries here and get my 12 volts, which means as you're going down the road, if you stop and you're talking and you're jaw jacking, listening to the radio, left the lights on, you could kill 2 of these batteries and you're not going to get home. The other choice is to buy an inverter or converter, and basically then you come off the positive here and the negative there at 36 volts, and it converts it down to 12, and the difference there is that you are right then killing all 6 batteries at the same speed, but a much slower speed, so you can get home longer if you do it that way. The third option is I have this little battery here. It's a 12 volter and it will fit in there, and I'm thinking of just putting it in with a trickle charger so that when I pull the cart back in, I plug the 36 volt right here, the 36 volt charger, into the main battery pack, and just plug that trickle charger into here, and then no matter how dead that battery gets, it never affects the running of the golf cart. So what I've done is I've set the time and I've plugged these things in, and they're going to run until that battery dies, and then I'm going to know how long that battery will last. And if it'll last, you know, an hour or so, we won't be riding the cart that long. If we are, we won't have the headlights on that long, and so basically I'll always be able to use it this way and conserve the batteries that make the thing run. So that's plan number 1. So we'll see how long this battery lasts, but we're going to crank Janice back up right now. Right, let me turn the volume down here again so we don't get copyright infringements. But as you can see, the lights are still on. The thing is, the stereo is still blasting away. Again, turn it down so that we don't get, you know, copyright infringements. But it's been over an hour and a half, and that little battery, I didn't even bother to charge it. It's been sitting back here in the back. It came off of a yard tractor we had that's been gone from us for at least 2 years. So old battery, still holding the charge up, and still running lights and stereo for over an hour and a half. So I think we figured out what we're going to do. That's going to be mounted in here, and we're going to run direct 12 volt to it instead of a converter, or instead of coming off of the batteries in here the way we had talked about. So there it is. That's the end of this experiment. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, because an hour and a half, that's plenty of time. All right, like I said, we're waiting on pieces and parts. We've ordered a bunch of materials and all things that we're going to put on here, and I'm just looking for things I can do until things start piling in here. Basically, our design for this thing, our idea of what it's going to be when we're finished, is it's going to be a woody. At least we think it's going to be. And so what I'm doing is just about to make a pattern for this section here. There'll be wood there, and then up at the front we'll put a little wood panel in there, and then across the very front. So we'll have 5 pieces of wood in here, and then we're going to finish it, I don't know, maybe something turquoisey. That's kind of a traditional woody color. So this, what I've done here is, you watch these shows with Chip Foose and all them designing and building their cars and putting things together, and I don't do it that way because I'm not as good as they are. They are artistes. So what I've done is back behind here is taped off what the panel should look like. Everybody's happy with it now, and so I put this piece of tracing paper over it, and then just take my pencil here. Just take my pencil and it picks up that line. And so now what I'm going to do is take that tape again and then tape this paper. And then when I take it off, I'll be able to just cut along the tape, and that'll give the paper a little bit more rigidity as a, what do you call it, as a pattern. Now what I have to do is come back in here now and put a level line on here, because if I start putting wood on, and none of this, as you can see, none of this is square, it's all matching the panel, and so you wouldn't actually know which way the grain should be laying. You know, you don't want to put it on and all of a sudden realize that your grain's running like this, or your grain's running down like this. So that's the next thing to do. So that's what I'm doing right now, making up my patterns for the wood panels. All right, so here we go. Right now we are back from our little trip, and a little bit of sanding has taken place here. We've gotten the blue paint off. The blue paint was not adhered very well, and to paint over it or even to prime over it would have just separated it later on, and we'd have had a mess, I think. So it's been pretty well stripped, and what you can see here is that, you know, I think we've mentioned this before, this is not a fiberglass golf cart, and the steel in this thing is solid. This corner had been hit and dented in pretty well, and I was able to get in there with a hammer and a block and get like 90% of that dent out of there, and just, you can see just very little Bondo after it was beat back out. So it's an amazing thing. There's more steel in this thing than they were putting in cars at the time, I promise you. But this is it. We had a little piece of rubber down here, a little kick guard, and it had moisture behind it, so there was some surface rust there, and we got that all ground down and sanded down, and this is what it looks like just ahead of taping it off and priming it. So today's project is to get the thing taped off and shoot primer on it, and probably before the day's over, hopefully get somewhere around 3 coats of primer on it and sand it down, and then the surface would almost be ready for paint. But before that, I've got to make the wood panels that are going to go on it and start fashioning some kind of a top. But today, I think, is the 24th of October, and we're home now. There's nothing planned really between now and then other than little soccer games and stuff like that. So I'm going to stay on it and see if it's possible to have this thing finished to take out on Halloween. So that's the goal, but I don't know, there's a lot of work to do, as you can see. All right, it's probably about 4.5 hours later. It took longer than I thought, But I got the thing masked off, taped up, and the primer's on it. So at least it's all one color. The paint, as you can see on the pan down there, is okay. There's no rust through and it's solid. And that gets that rubber mat back on it. So I didn't bother to mess with the floor pan and all. We'll be making a little console for the center. So what you see is, well, basically navy gray, right? I mean, it's primer, but I'm saying we just sand it and put clear coat on it and put some numbers on it. We could call this a navy cart. Do a little honor to my brother who put 20 years in service, and my sister-in-law who did at least 4 years active and several reserves. So, but we're going to stick with the original plan, but maybe sometime in the future we'll do something like that. I mean, little navy something. We got the deuce and a half in the background back yonder. I carry my army pride. But there it is, primed and ready to go. Now I'm going to stop on the paint and body and start working on the woodworks for it. So next time you see it, I'll be trying to apply some wood, at least preliminarily. All right, just a quick look inside the shop here. just so you can see what a mess we got going on. Over there are speakers, because I'm working over here on the speaker box that'll go over the rear seat of our little cart here. Over there in the back, piled up, is the back seat itself and the tires. Right here in front of us are all the wood panels. We're making this a woody. So they're here. The urethane is drying. This is the actual structure for the roof we're making, and this is going to go into Linda's craft room here directly, and she's going to paint all this underside. And then this is what's embarrassing to me. Look at this workbench here, guys. About every 3 or 4 days, I take a minute and put everything where it belongs and clean it all off and start over. But this is about 2 days of accumulation. I mean, it's kind of like every tool I own is being put to use in this project. So, but right now, I'm going to start sanding the body. It's primed and ready to go, and get it sanded, cleaned up, and ready to paint. And then go ahead and tape it off, and then tomorrow morning hopefully I'll put the paint on it. But for right now, this is the mess that's going on. You can see, well, let's see, you can see over here the framework. We've refinished it and painted it black to match the back seat assembly. I guess over here are the handrails and the foot guards and all that go on it. We've painted black to match the rest of the trim. So getting it ready. Hopefully after the paint, we're going to be close to ready to put it all back together. All right, Linda is working on covering the seats, the original seats for the golf cart.
Yeah. We ordered the seat covers so that they would match. Plus they have the decorative trim, or not really trim, but indentations. And they're made exactly for these seats, so they're perfect. So.
And you're doing a perfect job putting them on.
This last thing I covered was the dining room chair, so it's been, I did that during the quarantine. So.
Yeah. So.
This is nice, very, very, very thick vinyl.
You wouldn't call that naugahyde?
I wouldn't call it naugahyde. But it's nice. It's a nice vinyl. I think it will hold up nicely. But this is the bottom of the front seat, and there are the backrests.
Oh yeah, there they are. It's done and ready to go.
Yep.
Man, and they match the. We bought the new rear seat.
Rear seat.
Assembly and everything, and got it in the tan, and then
they match perfect.
So where we go.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What is today? Today is Tuesday.
Tuesday, like the 26th or something.
Yeah, and Halloween is, we're going to call it Sunday night.
Sunday.
So our goal is to have this thing operational for Sunday night.
So my next project this afternoon is painting the underside of the top. Terry built the top, and my job this afternoon is painting the underside of that.
We'll bring that in. Where are we at? What's this place here?
This is the craft room, the happy place.
And my craft room?
No.
Whose craft room is this?
It's our craft room. But mainly mine.
Mainly mine.
If we're going to be honest.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll bring that top in here, turn it upside down on the table, and you can have at it.
Going to paint that with chalk paint.
That's right.
And then at a later time, we'll decorate it.
Yeah. All right. You got it. Okay, so basically things are happening. There's the seat cushion bottom. Looks good. There's the two tops, the backs for the front seat riders. But here's what's really cool. Linda, what you up to now?
I'm painting the inside of the top of the golf cart.
Now this is, what is that? What do you call that? Is that Payne's Gray?
No, this is called Weathered Wood. This is DIY paint. This is from when we went to California. This is Debbie's Design Diary paint, and it's chalk paint, and it is the best paint ever. It's highly pigmented, so you can water it down, and it just goes forever. And look how beautiful. So this is wet. It looks like it's black. It's wet, but this is dry, and look how luscious this is. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's almost like a wet stain.
Yeah,
but it's really, really nice.
It's a chalk paint, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So after I'm done with this, we're going to seal it with an exterior sealant of some kind, like a matte, and it's going to be done. At some point, I'm going to paint some flowers on the inside, but we're trying to get it done by Halloween, so we'll go ahead and put it up like that.
Oh, it'll be on there by Halloween, but I imagine by the end of the next week, it's going to be artsy fartsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a good word?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I love it. All right. Cushions today, top today.
Inside.
All right. We're kicking it, man.
Kicking it
hard. Okay, so this is probably something you never thought you'd see. So I wanted to make sure that I filmed it. Linda has completely done the first coat of paint on this thing. It looks beautiful, but you know how paint brings out the grain in the wood, so it has to have a little light sanding. And Linda, what are you doing?
I'm sanding. This is my least favorite job. Actually, this and pulling weeds are my least favorite jobs in the world.
Yeah, but you're doing it. Now, why is that?
Because I want to do a good job.
You want it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does look good, doesn't it?
It is. It's looking good. I really like it.
I think so.
This color is so pretty. I really like it.
Absolutely so. But anyway, beautiful job. We got Chloe here today.
We have my sweet little helper here.
That's right.
Chloe, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
She's doing some great coloring today.
Should we see what she's doing?
Show them your other one.
Yeah, let's
Chloe.
see the first one you did. Oh my goodness. Hold it up straight. There you go. Perfect. Excellent. Very good. Nice job.
So we're getting done.
That's right.
We're honing in on it. Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Got to be done by Sunday.
Sunday. Hurry. What are you waiting on? All right, so what's going on now is doing a little bit of sanding. We'll get this thing ready to paint tomorrow. You know, primed it the other day, and now just sanding the primer down, getting it nice and slick, and then probably before the day's over, I'll go ahead and tape it all up and pull it in the garage. And then tomorrow morning, I'll just take the tack cloth all over it, start spraying some color on it. So here we are, giving it a little sand down. Last little bit of prep work before we put some paint on it. All right, here's the cart. It's now sanded. I'm just going to use a tack cloth to go over it one last time, mix up some paint, and we're about to put color on it. Okay, Linda, we're getting towards the end of it.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing?
Well, these are the accessory pieces that are, these are off the existing cart. We didn't get new ones. And we didn't replace them. And so they don't need to be replaced, they just need to be cleaned up and shined. So I'm cleaning them, and then I'm going to put this tire shine on them.
And so what you mean by cleaning is do your favorite thing in the wide world.
Sanding.
Sanding.
I always get the sanding job.
That's right.
Even though I hate it. But I'm doing that, and then I'm going to wash them a little bit, the inside a little bit, and then put the tire shine on, and that will make a big, huge difference.
That's right. And then we'll install them and be another step closer.
You can see it is raining, and it's supposed to even get worse today, so we're having to work undercover. I'm working on the back porch, and Jerry's working in the shop today.
Yeah, so we there's a lot of stuff we cannot do today because it just has to be done outside, but we're going to do what we can and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because Halloween's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, Terry.
Yes.
You're on another part of the process. Can you tell us what you're doing?
Oh my goodness. Well, how y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, hey down there. Okay, so what I'm doing now, this particular wire right here will run the voltmeter. It tells us when we're running out of battery so we can get on home. Then I have to run one back to my auxiliary battery. That'll run the lights and the, what else? What we got besides the lights?
Radio?
Radio, yeah, so we can run the radio. And then I'll have to run one more. Let me see where it comes from. Yeah, it'll come from all the way up here too. That'll go to the rear lights. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just running wire, getting it all hooked up front. And then we'll start hooking it up in the back, and then we start putting this whole thing back together. So I'm thinking that in about 2 hours or 3, maybe by nap time, these wires will be run.
Yeah.
And then we can get things put together, get the top put on it and all, get it buttoned up, check everything out, and then we'll put all the accessories back on and we're ready to go.
You've got the battery indicator and the starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So we're getting it done, man. Wiring this morning, and then certainly by, tomorrow we'll have it put back together.
All right. Today's Friday, so we're still on schedule
We're
so
on
far.
schedule. That's right. That's right.
All right. Thank you.
You got it. Bye. All right. What we're looking at here is a clean shop. Everything has a place and everything is in its place. The last time you saw this shop, it was anything but clean because we had a project and a vision. What do you think about the Woody wagon now? This is, believe it or not, the same 35-year-old 36-volt Easy Go golf cart that we brought in here and started this project with. So what we'll do is just kind of halfway point out a few things that we did to it. Alright, so of the things that we did to it, we put the lift kit on it, lifted it up so we can put the new wheels and tires on it. We've got our wood panels on it, painted it something like a 1956 Ford, maybe Thunderbird. It certainly looks exactly like the old Harley we had. New seat covers. We have a new dash in it with a radio and a meter to make sure we don't run out of battery while we're out riding around. We have the back seat with the seat belts and all. We added a new top to it. with the speakers for the stereo, and painted all the accessories here black to match the other things we were putting on. New steering wheel, a little bit of work we did under the seat to make it run better, but basically that's it. That's what you call a 1986 E-Z-GO Woody. I love it. I hope you think it's cute too.